Hello and welcome back to our tutorial series for Rhino. Today in session 5, database and material. I'm your host Benjamin and I'm going to lead you through this Morpo Tutorial Series. Today we're going to learn about materials and ENVI-met Database, how we extract material codes from the database and how we assign them to the ENVI-met entities. So last time we created ENVI-met entities, so we assigned our buildings and surfaces and plants to ENVI-met entities. And now the next logical step is to assign different materials or plant species to those entities. So I'm just gonna select this and move it to the right. So now we have space for our database. So the first thing we need is Morpho library. This will be able to read the ENVI-met database. And for that, the important input is from the Unix workspace that we set in the second session. So the library or this module knows where the database is located. So in the installation files of ENVI-met, or more exactly in the in your workspace folder. But yeah, let's go to a system database because that's the default. So this is gonna also get access through the Unix workspace to the installation folder where ENVI-met is installed. So that they can extract all the materials that come with ENVI-met. If you want to use your own database, your user database, you can add a Boolean toggle here and set this to false. False. So then it's gonna look for a user database and use your custom materials. But the default case is to use the system database, so that's what we're doing today, and this is why I'm going to remove this toggle. So now it's connected, but now we need to filter through this really big database, and two ways to filter through this to find the right material is through type and keywords. So for type, as we can see here, these are the different types. So we have profile, soil, material, wall, source, normal plants, 3D plants, and greening. And you can just connect a panel, like a text panel here, and then do profiles, for example, and you connect it here. And then the output will be only profiles. But what I like to do is to do a value list. So it's a lot easier to select the type you're looking for. Of course, you have to adjust it here. So this is what I'm quickly going to do, and then I can show you. So I'm done now with the value list. Just to show you quickly, this is what it looks like. Real basic, so it just tells the string output to generate. Now we can conveniently select a type of material here. Yeah. So the next thing is to use keywords. But first, let me visualize it a bit more what we are doing here. So I'm gonna add a panel and connect it to a description. Now we can already see what is was chosen with our input here. So I chose wall, so now we have all the wall materials. To soil, we have all the soil material, type of soils, plants, the different kind of plants. And now to, as I said earlier, make the looking for material a bit easier, we're gonna add keywords. So I wanna have a wall and I wanna have a brick wall. And for that, I'm just gonna add a text window here. And I'm gonna write brick for a brick wall. I'm gonna look for a brick wall. And if I connect this, it's only gonna show me the different kinds of brick wall that are in the ENVI-met database. And we can also connect a panel to the codes, because this is, as it says, only the description of the materials. And here it's basically the same materials, but are only displayed as the material codes. This is what we need for as an input for the material here in our entities. So of course you can just look manually and look through the database and then enter codes here. So what I like to do is to use the module list item. This is a default module from Grasshopper. And here we can input our list, which is the code list, and an index, which will select one code from the list. So let's see, we want to have maybe the brick wall aerated, so that's index number 3. And now if we connect this, we can look here in the panel. It's gonna output the material code. As always, a 6-digit code, which we're gonna need as an input for our materials, for our entities. Right, now for things like, as you can see, sometimes it says material and sometimes it says code. So if you just need a code, you could directly, theoretically enter it here. Now, of course, this doesn't make sense because it's a wall material. But we're doing building now, and for buildings, it's a bit more complex. So we need more for building material, because we're going to create, for one building, we're going to create like a package of material codes that's going to be assigned to the whole building. So as you can see here, we have 4 different inputs: wall code, roof code, green wall code, and green roof code. So now we chose the wall code. So we're gonna enter this here. So now for the roof code, we wanna basically do the same. I'm gonna copy these bits here, and here on the wall, or also look material, any kind of material you want for your roof. So we have a few default roof tiles, so maybe just go with the normal roof tile. So it's index number 1, and then we can already connect this to the roof code. And yeah, now let's say we also want a maybe a green roof, no green wall, but maybe a green roof. So again, we use this here. Of course, you can simplify this whole thing by only, if you know the codes by heart, you can of course just enter them into a panel, into a text field, and then enter it as an input. But if you're not so familiar, this is a nice and intuitive layout to look for the materials. Or if you prefer, you can also just open ENVI-met and look in there, and then just copy out the code. Right. So, but we're gonna continue here and select greening. Let's enter as a keyword. I mean, I think we don't need a keyword here because there's not so many defaults. Yeah. Let's maybe do green sandy substrate, so that's number 7. and connect this to the green roof coat. So now with these three different materials, we have constructed one building material, so to say. So this is going to be applied to the whole building. Every roof cell is going to be applied the roof coat, and on top of that the green roof coat, and all of the walls are going to be our brick wall. So now this is done, and we can connect this material to our first building, and for simplicity's sake, I'm also going to do it for our second building. Of course, if you want to have different kind of materials or greening, you could create a new building material and then connect this, but this is good for now. So I just cleaned this up a bit here, and now we can continue with our surfaces. So again, I'm going to use this, and now we want to do the street. First we're going to profile, and then maybe look for asphalt. We can do number 2 is the asphalt road, and then now we can directly connect the index to the code input. So now I'm just going to quickly do a explanation between the differences between ground materials or soil materials and soil profiles, because in the plugin you can choose between profiles or soils. It's important to note that you want to apply soil profiles. So soil profiles, like asphalt road maybe, it consists of many different soil materials. As you can see here, it's layered. You can have multiple different layers in ENVI-met in this soil profile. And this is different than only using a soil material, because this is only the material itself, and it cannot be applied as a soil profile in the model, because these are just the building blocks for our real soil. This is also for other natural surfaces, for example, loamy soil. It's also consists of many layers. So just as a side note. So moving on to our ground material here. So as I said, we need to do a profile, and then we maybe want a loamy soil like this one, number 3, and we can also connect it right here. So the next is our 2D plant, also a similar process. We choose here as a type plant, and then we want to have grass, and here we can choose between 25 centimeter tall grass or 50 centimeter tall grass. So let's choose this one, number 6, and connect it to the entity. Now lastly, 3D plants. It's also very similar to the others. We're going to choose 3D plant, and now we can look for a specific tree we want to have. So maybe we have a beech. Now we can choose between old beech, young beech. Let's get a young beech, a 0, and connect it to the 3D plant. So ENVI-met has a big library of trees. You can also have a better look at it in Albero, in the tree app from the ENVI-met headquarters. Probably can have an overview here. So we have 337 different kind of trees, so different tree species and different tree sizes. You can also filter through the size of the tree. So if you want to have a large tree, you can enter as a keyword large, or as I said, a specific tree type, so maybe also oak, and then choose the tree you prefer. And for like the dimensions and sizes, you should have a look in Albero, because there's all the parameters of the trees. And of course, if you have a user database, you can use your own trees. So now here it's just going with the Hungarian oak. And now we're done with this part, and we assigned a material code for every ENVI-met entity. We're just gonna group this part here, give an overview, change the color a bit, and give the title materials. So this is it for today's session. I'm just gonna summarize what we learned. So we really took a dive into the ENVI-met database and looked what it all contains and how you can filter it properly, then how you extract these filtered items and assign them to their entities. We also quickly talked about the system database and the user database and what you should use, and then also about wall and roof greening and how to apply them to the whole set of building materials for unique buildings. So in the next session, we're gonna finalize the whole model area, and then we can have the first look at how the model looks in ENVI-met.